Often, the thing that prevents us from learning a foreign language is not our ability, but fear. Today, I want to talk about overcoming fear when learning a foreign language. First, what does it mean to overcome your fears, or overcome something in general? To overcome something means to succeed in dealing with a problem or difficulty. Often, the word overcome is used with fear in the sense of overcoming fears. For example, if you overcome your fear of the dark, it means that you stop being afraid of the dark. Similarly, if you overcome your fear of speaking a foreign language, it means you stop being afraid to try speaking in a foreign language. I want to talk about the fear that keeps us from following our dreams and discuss some ways we can overcome those fears, specifically in the context of learning another language. Here we go. There is a well-known quote which says, "Most everything that you want is just outside your comfort zone." Well, often the things we want the most are outside of our comfort zone. In other words, we have to do things that are uncomfortable in order to get what we want. For example, learning to speak a foreign language usually means speaking in a language we are not comfortable with at first. We might be afraid to speak in another language because we make mistakes and we are embarrassed. But it's important to remember that anytime you start something new, you are going to make mistakes. This is true whether we are playing a sport or learning an instrument, for example. That's okay. If we never make mistakes, we never learn. In order to learn, and especially in order to learn a foreign language, you have to make mistakes. You cannot let the fear of making mistakes keep you from trying. If you don't try and you don't make mistakes, you never improve in a meaningful way. Let's look at another metaphor. A ship in harbor is safe, but that is not what ships are built for. A ship is built to sail, and the same is true of learning a foreign language. If you never speak, you are like a ship that stays in the harbor and never sails. If you want to arrive at your destination, that is, speaking and understanding a foreign language, you have to leave your safe harbor. So, here are some tips to stay motivated to learn a foreign language and overcome your fear of speaking. Number 1. Focus on what you know, not what you don't know. It's easy to think about all the things we don't know. However, it's important to remember that you already know quite a lot. Often, you know more than you think you do. When you are speaking, focus on the things you already know to help you communicate with others. Number 2. Redefine success. As long as you can speak and another person can understand you, that's success. Remember, the point is not to be perfect, but to communicate. Of course, you want to speak and communicate as well as possible, but you can't get better at speaking in a different language if you hardly ever speak it and don't learn from mistakes. Number 3. Trust your instinct and don't overthink it. Very often, your instinct is correct, or at the very least, very close to correct. If you worry too much about everything you say being perfectly correct, you might overthink what you are trying to say. Overthinking every single word can make speaking another language more complicated than it needs to be. Number 4. Don't be too proud. Be persistent. You probably want to sound intelligent, and as a result, you may avoid speaking in a foreign language in order to avoid feeling stupid. That is normal, but sometimes you just have to go for it and give speaking a try. If you keep trying to speak the language, you will improve. Little by little, you will do better. Learning a foreign language doesn't happen overnight. It often takes years. Try to speak the foreign language you are learning as much as possible. Eventually, it will become easier and you will improve. But you have to practice, even though it's uncomfortable at times. The famous hockey player Wayne Gretzky once said, "You miss 100% of the shots you don't take." If you never take a shot because you are afraid you will miss the goal, you will never score. Let's apply this to speaking a foreign language. In order to speak a foreign language, you have to give speaking a shot. If you never speak because you are afraid of making a mistake, you might avoid feeling embarrassed, but you won't learn. To learn and grow, we have to be vulnerable. This is not easy. In fact, it is usually very difficult to be vulnerable, and speaking a foreign language often makes us feel extremely vulnerable. But remember, most everything you want is just outside your comfort zone. To improve as speakers in a foreign language, we have to leave our comfort zones. However, the rewards are worth the risk, so don't be afraid to give it a shot.